Hi guys, welcome back to the Dance of Evolving. I wanted to jump on here tonight and share something that is really connected to the meditation that I actually just posted on being able to stay in a high vibration. And I'm really going to explain today scientifically how it's life-changing to be aware of the vibration that you start each day, the momentum you give thoughts, and how it truly affects your overall being and the magnetic field around you. That's what, like, it gives me the chills, because you can see people who have this magnetic energy, we call it, but a magnetic field, truly scientifically a magnetic field around them, that draws so much abundance, and they're always grateful. Things don't get them down. I'm about to tell you how this happens and what happens when it's actually when it's happening through you. So in the 1940s, there was a guy at Yale, and Joe Dispenza talks about this often, who legit studied this stuff. And when he did, he was focused on the electromagnetic field that surrounds all living organisms. In order to really start studying this, he gathered all different types of eggs, unhatched eggs, and it could be from birds, reptiles, really any eggs. And 100% of the time, every single one, they all had a positive charge at the head and a negative charge down near the tail of the egg. And this gave him the ability to bring up the fact that we have an external magnetic field around all living things. And the more awareness we have to this, the more we can become part of the process of how much energy we are able to, give certain parts of our body. If it's positive, if it's negative energy that we're doing, how our thoughts really have to do with all of it. And like, speaking of thoughts, for example, our thought has a frequency, then becomes a chemical, guys, and this affects us big time. So if we choose to live in lack, and let's say we focus on that lack, because what you focus on truly does grow, and that's what you're giving your energy to. So we're storing all that thought in our second center, and what happens then is it's taking the energy from our electromagnetic field. It's actually, we're tapping into that resource to deal with the negative thoughts. So if we're holding a grudge against someone, if we have such a fear that it is controlling, many of our thoughts, if we are too worried about what people think, or we're feeling guilty about things, when a thought has resistance, when it is not in the flow, when you are not feeling that bliss, your thoughts are giving you resistance to help you look, okay, well, why am I thinking this? Let's get to the root of it. Because if we don't, what happens is our energy completely gets depleted, and we have a zero magnetic field around us. And you can see who is struggling like this, and you can see, and with compassion, you want to be able to help because you've been through it. And I go through it every day. I catch myself getting bothered by something or getting off track. And every time I catch myself doing this, it's not what were you doing? It's okay, I'm getting stronger because I actually have an awareness of this now, and I'm learning how to work through it. The more that you release this stuff, 5% of our energy is in our brain, the rest is in our body. And we want to move this energy up to our heart, into our brain, our mind, to be able and have that awareness that we are not our mind, but this ability to be aware of our energies that we are actually storing, and our energies that we are radiating, is huge, guys. It's huge. So I think the message that I'm trying to tell you here is that the more energy that you can ascend back up to the heart and to the brain, where you're like, how do you do that, Anna? You don't ignore it. So instead of, okay, so let's say, let's do the classic breakup as an example. And we've all been there. So you feel heartbroken. You have these ruminating thoughts that are like, I'm alone, whatever, or maybe you're holding a grudge, or you're feeling like you are not good enough, or you're feeling depleted of yourself because you gave all of yourself in the relationship. It could be any reasons, or maybe things just didn't work out and you have things to heal from. This is the perfect time where all these triggers come up, and and instead of ignoring them, and a lot of us would ignore them by overworking, by jumping into a new relationship, by going out and partying so much because we don't want to cope. So it's that whole, oh, I'm working hard all weekend, but I don't really know if I like my job because I'm not really loving my life. And then I'm working for the weekends, but then we're going out, our weekends are wasted, and there's zero time for healing. So this is a constant depletion of energy that we have here. And then it's stored into our body, which causes the diseases, which cause dis-ease, or I know I said that before, which causes the back and the neck pain and the being off balance, because we lose an awareness of ourselves and everything gets off track. It's like having your foot down on the brake and the gas at the same time in a car. The momentum is out of whack. So how do you handle this? You stop. You stop with all the distractions. You stop with all the unhealthy ways of coping, and you face yourself. You face yourself with compassion and love and strength. And instead of ignoring these thoughts, you let them come to the brain. You truly think about them. You reflect on why you're feeling them. You ask if these thoughts are serving you. This is why I've made meditations about this, and I do have one about observing thoughts, and that'll be linked below as well. And then on top of that, after observing thoughts, being able to release them. Because when you release these negative thoughts, when you release all these disbeliefs or these stories that either someone presented us and we took on like a cloak, or it could also be stories that we've written for ourselves, and this familiar kind of darkness that we like to sit in because we're used to feeling that. But that is not the way we're meant to live. Our mind and our body and our heart and our soul can feel true bliss if we're able to do this. So now let's think about when we take the time. It could be meditation, can be a state of being. You can have an awareness of this literally in your mind, and you can stop yourself, excuse yourself when you have a thought, feelings, emotions that are resisting, and you can actually go deal with those. And when we really truly think, okay, so let's go back to the breakup. Instead of distracting ourselves, we look within and we see the missing pieces, or the things that really the true root of the problem. And with every person it could be different, guys. And yeah, it could be traumas from childhood. It could be from any part of your life. At any time that you took on a story that is not you, or you wrote one about yourself, or you took on a disbelief, there are so many things that we've been programmed to think that it doesn't serve us. So the more that we actually gain a different perspective and we work through these emotions, I mean, you can cry, yoga does it for me. I store so much negative energy in my body that my muscles, are just inflamed. And not only that, it affects my overall workings of my body. And so the more awareness I have, yoga, stretching, meditating, really getting into nature and noticing how life is so much more than you, the more that I'm able to meditate on this, and then also then gaining a different perspective of what I'm working through, the negative feeling that keeps coming up, and how am I going to get through it, or at least start to get through it. Because if you're releasing that energy that is stored in your body up to your heart and to your brain each day, you are going to start creating this magnetic field around you that's going to be unreal, and you will actually feel it. I'm speaking from experience. So the energy that's being released out, instead of this whole, this living in fright and living in insecurities and fear, instead you're almost releasing, like your nervous system gets switched on. It starts working because now your body is not working so hard to survive. And so Oh, it's amazing. It's like you have these very high frequencies then that starts to, the gamma brainwaves is what Joe Dispenza brings up. You get these gamma brainwave patterns, and it's almost like ecstasy of the mind. It's amazing. It's like pure ecstasy. It's bliss, but with your mind, and it takes, and then it connects with your soul, and you have this whole state of being. And he talks about it. He calls it the orgasm of the mind. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. When you are so filled up with love, for love of life and everything around you, and you are releasing things, and you feel that pure state of joy and love that we're meant to feel. It is actually. So the more energy that you have in the brain, and it releases this external magnetic field, and the energy then around your body actually is affected. You know, when you walk into a room and someone really stands out, and like you feel their energy, and you know, I would always say, you have such great energy. I didn't really realize these are people who have done the inner work, whether it's through tragedy or just becoming aware or working, you know, just not ignoring what can be so hard to deal with sometimes. But you become so blessed in the moment that it's almost like you are transferring guilt and insecurity to pure bliss. And it's this rush of energy that produces a field. And it's an energy to heal. It literally is. And once it's stored in the centers, the energy, you can heal, because now you're no longer storing in your body and in your chakras all of this suppressed guilt and shame and anger and all of that. Well, now you're releasing this energy, and you have more energy to heal, and you have such a magnetic field around you, when before, when you were living in lack, we're just a piece of matter with no charge, because we're depleted of all of our energy. But it's almost like when Abraham Hicks says, you're tapped in, you're tuned in, turned on to life. This is what that means. We actually create a new life. In doing all of this, you're lowering the volume to your emotions that you gave such a focus to before, because you actually became self-aware of them and you're working through them. And then the energy comes back to your, to your heart, and then your mind, and you become in line with your soul and who you really are. You take your power back. It's your energy is now, you have more in your heart and your mind. The things that you thought you wanted in the past, when you start to experience this, is a lot of the things you no longer want. Your body is conditioned emotionally to what you believe to be your bright and amazing future. You are becoming that. It is your state of being, and you're no longer in lack. Things that when you're no longer in lack, so you're not going out and seeking things. Things come to you. So when they talk about the law of attraction, this is why they say your vibration comes before that whole manifestation, the law of attraction, because your vibration is everything. It affects your lens that you see everything in life. It affects what is attracted to you. In this school of life, we are going to continue to learn lessons until they're learned, and they come in different patterns. And I'm so blessed to have these repeated patterns and lessons, because it wouldn't have brought me to where I am today. And that's another thing. You become so in love with life that you've accepted every part of your past. And you've accepted every part of your past, and everyone who has come across in your life, you see the meaning of it and how they've moved you forward based on your response. Because things will unfold in front of us. We'll have experience that happen, but how we respond and how we view them, really, it affects everything. And as you can see, it can affect your mind and your body, and then get you out of line with your soul if it's the wrong way. But when you're living in abundance, you are able to create. You don't have time to go chase, because you are able to create. You no longer is it about you, yourself, but you're just in love. and not looking. And there's nothing to do because you are love. It's actually, it's a beautiful feeling and it feels so wonderful. You don't want to get out of that. And this is when things come into your life, and when you think, oh, maybe I manifested that. Well, you did, because this came to you because this is your state of being. And you have these meaningful, like, loving relationships, whether it be friends or with a partner. And even if you don't have that right now, you sit back and you are cultivating love within your inner sanctuary. You are aware of the light that your heart gives out and the energy, and you don't live in lack because you know that in divine timing everything will come together. And if something doesn't feel right, you're like, I don't know. Well, then it's not right for you, and you trust that, and you nurture and you protect and you grow and you open up more and more and more each day. And when this happens, you don't take things personal. So it just takes a start of, you're like, well, how do I start this, Anna? Have the courage to open your heart. Life with an open heart is beautiful. And I can think of those who I come into contact with who truly live life with an open heart. And their life is a mission. Because to live life to the fullest with an open heart, regardless of what anyone does around you or any experiences around you, that in itself is a miracle to watch. It's beautiful. And once you have that courage to open your heart, people become healed. And I can speak from experience. I had so many issues at one point in my life, that I was diagnosed with the disease, and it affected my digestive system greatly. And I heal from this and any of the symptoms the more that my nervous system is calm, my immune system and everything is just, there is this zen and this calmness about you when you do this inner work, and it's so worth it, because the stored energy, then you open up and your body transforms in that moment. And instead of being in lack, and when times get crazy, and instead of wanting stuff to happen and being in this separation, you're just in love. You're connected with life, with yourself, and you don't want the moment to end. Every moment is a miracle, and even the hard moments are the transforming opportunities for you to know that you're going to continue to grow. It's like you're constantly making new memories and experiencing everything in love. It's these elevated emotions that we see people in, and anyone can access this. You're locked in love. You have a sense of love, and when you're like this, anyone who you previously viewed as an adversary in your life, you see a part of yourself. And this is the beautiful thing. You see a part of yourself that you used to be, and that you no longer are in that moment. And you see them with pure compassion and love, and you want them to overcome any struggles. And you almost see certain things like, I'm sorry, but when I see someone with road rage or somebody acting like really, really like, if it's hysterical, it's historical. If there's something in their history that they have suppressed that's causing them to act like this. So even thinking about as a teacher, it's almost like no matter what age, when you see someone acting like that, you see them with love, you want them to heal. And it's almost like a child throwing a tantrum, calling out for help, and you don't take it personal. And so, like, you got to think, how often are we in reaction mode? I'm easy on myself, guys, because I'm in reaction mode every single day, and I have to catch myself. We are conditioned to react every day. And how long will we react is what the question is. This is where we can celebrate, because if we can shorten the period of reaction and know that the only person our reaction truly affects is us, and then the major effect it has on our electromagnetic field, our body, our energy, our ability to truly be in line with ourselves. It's like you just want to live in love. It's like you don't want to be, you almost see that going back to that reactive mode and staying in it once you catch yourself in it. It's like you don't want to be on a junkie on a bad trip, or like over reacting and giving your power away. You see it as so detrimental to your growth that you catch yourself and you shorten that time each time you're reacting. There's sometimes I see myself reacting and I don't understand why. Instead of just coping by continuing or overgiving myself, or I don't know, if I'm off, I excuse myself and I don't make any decisions in that moment. And this is where I meditate, or I take a walk, or I'll turn on like Petite Biscuit or Odessa, some kind of music that gets, we all have our ways of coping. And I think, where am I going? Where can I flip the script with this reaction? And even if it takes 20 to 30 minutes and then returning back to a situation, knowing that when you think of all of eternity and the effect that you can have on this planet, and the effect of what it's like when your soul's not lined up with your mind and your body, it's like, oof, it's so worth it, because all of this drives our behaviors and our thoughts, and we don't want to live in emotions from the past and let these stored emotions affect everything that we do. So the main thing that we're talking about today is really getting into that heart coherence, where you self-regulate and you can settle your brain, and you're breaking thousands of years of programming of fears, and you move a little bit further each day. That is why I posted that meditation about starting the day in a high vibration, because if you can start the day in a high vibration and keep that momentum going every day, you're getting a little bit stronger. So if you haven't checked that out yet, that is linked below, and I'll also put a link above here as well. But find which ways work for you, when you catch yourself in that negative thinking, and that you know that you can self-regulate and get your energy back up to your heart and to your mind, and to be able to be in line with your soul. It's like you're adding new stitches to the 3D tapestry of our minds. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a true way to cultivate love within yourself, because you're falling in love with life, and you're not needing it from external events or people, because let's be honest, we're all trying to get through and come back home to ourselves. So let's lead each other home by living by example. And it's almost like we personalize then, how, and it begins programmed in us how we're responding instead of reacting. And we step out of the philosophical and theoretical realm of all of this that we're talking about, the scientific research, and applying it personal. You make it personal, and when you personalize it to you, and you know what strategies, like mine is breathing and visualizations, and meditation, going out in nature, yoga and stretching and body movement and music. That is how I shift my state and flip my script, and it has helped me get all the pain out of my body. It is helping me heal internally, and it is helping me observe my mind and my thoughts, which is such wisdom that I did not have before. And I know it's not just all me, although, and I know that our source, that God in the universe, when you feel in line with all of it, and you feel like, you have this spirit, living within you, that you can, you're so in line with your soul. You do feel that magnetic energy around you, and you felt probably other people who give off this type of energy, and because they've personalized this healing process. So thank you for staying with me. If you like this content and you haven't subscribed yet, I actually put out content like this, like when things come to me, or I hear just such nuggets of knowledge I like to share. I like to connect them to things that I've done. So I have a playlist of meditations. I have a playlist of like self-confidence. I love shuffling, so I have, I think, a playlist of 5 videos that teach you how to do a type of dance to shift your state. And I'm going to start really adding even more content to promote body movement and music and meditation, and really getting grounded with nature and who you are. So again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like this video if you like the content, and share it with anyone who you think this would be super insightful for. Oh, and don't forget the bell for notifications, because I'll be uploading twice a week for you. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. And this is just a reminder, don't give up on yourself. Fight for yourself. Think of everything you've worked hard for, your inner sanctuary, your heart, and the energy that you can give off and the ripple effect that you can create on this planet. To be able to have your one soul signature and the one type of energy that only you can give off. And it's a beautiful thing, guys. And we are purpose. It is part of our purpose. So I'll see you guys soon. And don't forget to look for just the small miracles of life. And check out my meditation video on it's morning meditations, and it's linked below. And it's how to start your day in your highest vibration. It's been helping me too. All right. Bye, guys.